How are you all doing?
Upgraded your equipment yet?
Hey?
Upgraded your equipment yet?
Upgraded your attitude yet?
Well played.
Mini-sode!
Watch out! Here it comes. Watch out! Here it comes. Watch out! Here it comes. Watch out!
Still sick.
Dude, it's been killing me. It's killing me.
Yeah, I'm fighting it off today. I felt pretty ordinary.
Yeah. I feel like at least I've been through the worst of it. I'm just like super phlegmy.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Sexy.
Tasty.
I tell you, it's fucking colder than a witch's tit right now.
It really is. It really is.
Yep.
Yeah, I suppose for all the new listeners out there, thanks for tuning in and listening to the Courtside Podcast. You can find all our shows at the website www.crtsde.podbean.com, and of course there you'll find links to all the shows and links to the Facebook group. So come down, say hi, join in all the discussions and all the arguments.
All the arguments? Sound like we don't get along.
On occasion. 2 games in, let's talk about this Boston Cavs series. Boston come out in game 1 and just punched Cleveland right in the nads and didn't let up. I think they drummed on by about 20 plus, I want to say. I didn't like a lot what I've heard out of LeBron's mouth in the presser afterwards. I don't know if it's a confidence thing. I don't know if it's he knows his team's not getting out of this round and he's kind of okay with that. But I didn't like the whole, he's not worried at all.
God, you're hard on the young kids.
I am hard on it.
Oh boy.
Well, look, we jumped to today's game, game 2, another game in Boston, and look, Cleveland jumped out to an early lead early on, but it was game over, Red Rover after that. Boston, 2 games up now. I just sort of wonder how concerned LeBron is now. Now he's down 2 games.
I would be just going home. You know what? They did what they had to do. Let's go home and do what we got to do. Just win 2 at home, and let's take it from there. That's the attitude they've got to have, I reckon.
Yeah, I very much said exactly the same thing to a friend of mine this afternoon. I mean, Boston are meant to win those 2 games. They're 2 home games, but they've won them by a spread of 40 points. So they're playing much better basketball than the Cavs are. The Cavs really need to right the ship. And it was interesting listening to Jackson and Van Gundy commentating the game today, and they were picking up from where they were seated, the eye rolls and the looks and the shrugged shoulders from the Cavs team when passes were being intercepted and when plays weren't being run correctly. They really look like they're down for the count. I think they're going to have trouble back in Cleveland.
Look, I'm backing Boston to sweep this thing.
Jeez.
Look, if I'm a Cleveland fan, I'm a little bit concerned with what's going on, obviously. But the lineup that Tyronn Lue put out at the start of the 4th quarter, I mean, it didn't exactly scream.
Yeah.
To be honest, it felt like that was a conceding lineup. That lineup felt like that was the lineup that you put in when the dog minutes are 2 minutes when you're down 20. Do you know what I mean? Like, I just didn't understand that lineup at that all. And if he's big, I mean, look, full credit to the guy. He can sure call a timeout when he wants to, but man, I mean, if his biggest game plan is to and and procrastinate whether he should start Tristan Thompson or not, I mean, this series is going to be over in no time.
No, if you wanted to throw Brad Stevens a curveball, he did it. I think both teams came into the 4th quarter and Brad Stevens was looking at the court like, you serious?
It was weird, right?
Yeah. Hey, Larry Nance Jr. Sure, okay.
It was Larry Nance Jr. Who was it? It was Hill, Rodney Hood.
Oh, no, it would have been Jeff Green and Kevin Love or something. I think Love was there anchoring it.
That's right. It was.
I think it's a good move to start Thompson to go head-to-head with Horford. I've got no problem with that. I do have a problem with the Cavs guards. They are just state Captain Obvious, playing like poo. And, they got rid of Dwayne Wade to give Clarkson, what's that Turkish bloke? Is he Turkish? Seti something?
Yeah, Seti. Yeah.
Hood more time. That's the only knock I've got on Lou at the moment. Give the guys more time. I mean, if J.R. Smith is what was he, 0 for 7?
Yeah.
Give Clarkson some burn. At least Clarkson, he'll try harder than J.R. Smith. Clarkson is a kid who works on his game in the off-season. He wants to be good. The guards are the biggest thing that's letting him down. They're getting enough from Kevin Love. LeBron's going to do what LeBron does, but George Hill's massively disappointing. I've had enough of J.R. Smith.
What a clown.
And Larry Nance, I'd try something different. I'd start Larry Nance at the 3, just for a bit of youth and athleticism. Try and, be a bit physical with Tatum. I'd try anything at the moment because one big difference is, like you guys said at the start, body language. The Celtics are a team that are united. They're on the same page. This Cavs team, they haven't been together all year. They're not on the same page. It's total opposite, and they've got a lot of work to do.
I feel really sorry for, all those new guys that came into this Cleveland situation, just for the amount of hammering they're getting online. Like LeBron had a 40-point triple-double today, and it still wasn't enough to get him the win. Obviously they're getting hammered in the press and by all the sports talk shows, for not giving him enough help. But I just feel like, man, like, what do you expect? Like, this is the first time around for guys like Clarkson. Like, I agree with you. Yeah, let's put Clarkson in there, but he's still a playoff virgin. Do you know what I mean? Like, this is like, in the times he's been in there, like, he doesn't look aggressive. He doesn't look like he's attacking the rim. Hood's obviously, well, I don't know what the hell's going on, Rodney Hood. But I think, Stu, you really nailed it actually before the playoffs. Well, actually, it was around the trade deadline when you guys sent Larry Nance to Cleveland, and you said something along the lines of, not that Larry Nance has hit his peak, but you get what you get out of Larry Nance. Like, you're just going to get, a 12 and 8 night out of Larry Nance.
Yeah, and I think that's got a lot to do with what we're seeing right now is that coachmanship, if that's what you want to call it, comes into play. And, he's got, Tyronn Lue's got a lot of little bit players and guys who are going to give you the 8 and 8s or the 15 points and no assists like a Clarkson. He's got these bits, and it really does fall on him to make it work. And I understand that he hasn't had long to put it together, and as long as Stevens has had this roster.
No.
But this is the pointy end, and he's got to get it together.
Fuck Tyronn Lue, man. I don't care. You snake a guy in the back and steal his job, and you inherit a team like this. When push comes to shove and you make some serious fucking moves, you better fucking show and prove instead of shalling away on the fucking bench. I don't care.
He did win a championship, just saying.
Let's kidney punch David Blatt.
Let's just discount that, can we? As a coach, he's got they are playoff virgins, so as a coach, for me, he's got to say to these guys, listen, go out, play. You're not going to get dragged if you make a mistake. Just go out and play, do your thing. You got to give these guys some confidence. You don't want these guys, if they make a mistake, miss a shot, throw the ball out of bounds, to look at the bench saying, geez, am I coming off now? They need that freedom, get the shackles off them, because when Clarkson gets going, he can be damaging.
I mean, you can't leave it to LeBron to motivate these guys. Lou's got to be the one to motivate these youngins and get them on the court and get them in playoff mode. I mean, they don't know the difference. Do you know what I mean? Like, they're too wet under the collar.
There's a lot of deer in headlights stuff, though. Vince mentioned it. Like, they throw a weird pass. They look at LeBron and they look at the bench, and I don't know. There's that hesitation. It's going to be natural, but I think it does come from the coach. I think it comes from the assistant coaches. I think these guys need to know that they're down 2-0. They've got to do what they do. They're employed professional basketball players. They traded for them. They're on the squad for a reason. Let's go get it. Yeah. Unless there's a mental switch that's flicked between now and Game 3, they could get swept.
Now, look, let's jump to Boston quickly. I mean, obviously they're doing their thing. Vince, you touched on it, very much a very complete team right now. We haven't had a jersey-worthy or brain fart, really, for the last couple of regular shows. But I think I just want to give my brain fart award because I don't know how Brad Stevens gets 0 Coach of the Year votes. Like, I actually thought that was a joke or some sort of, misprint when I first read it. But to get absolutely 0, to lose the place he's lost this year, to none? Oh, yeah.
I think he's going to get the NBA's Coach of the Year, though. That's coach's coach.
this team is just incredible. Like, they're just really incredible. And I got to say, I don't think since Grant Hill came into league, that first rookie, I don't think I've seen a more complete package from a rookie than what I've seen out of Tatum so far.
But here's a kid who's been told clearly, in my mind, don't be afraid to make a mistake.
Yep.
Don't be afraid to take a shot. If you're open, shoot it. You can give players confidence like that. And yes, he has got some more seasoned vets around him. I'm sure Al Horford's given him some guidance. There's Marcus Smart, one of the Morris twins. I mean, that all helps. That all.
One of them.
Who is it? Marcus? Is it Marcus? Yeah, it's Marcus.
Yeah, it's Marcus today. Yeah.
Fuck you, Benson. Again, I've lost it.
If you would have said Markeith, I would have let it slide. I don't care. Like I can't tell the difference.
I ideally said Mark. For all we know, it could be Mark.
Yeah.
He's playing pretty well.
It could be.
He's in Boston watching, so.
Yeah, I just think it helps with the confidence from someone like Tatum. You put him on the Cavs, I think it might be a little bit I still think he'd play okay, but it'd be a different story. It just helps. You know what it's like. If you watched enough ball.
My word, he is a good player, though.
Oh, yeah. Big time. Big time.
Oh.
Marcus Smart, man. Jesus.
He brought the energy, didn't he?
Oh, man. Did he what? He was great today. It's funny, though, like, just watching today's game, like, I only sort of caught at the side. I've got, like, half of the fourth quarter left to go before I stop the record. But it's just funny watching Marcus Smart really push Kevin Love around.
He marks 5 positions.
Like,
seriously, everybody talks that LeBron does it. Marcus Smart does.
I know that Kevin Love had to change his game. Like, remember Kevin Love in Minnesota? It was really like a beast down in the block. Obviously he had a lot more weight on him, and I still feel he has the knack for rebounding, of course. But my goodness, just watching Marcus Smart just kind of like chest move him around today was like pretty funny. Like, it was like, wow, like Kevin Love really did have to sacrifice and change up his game to fit into this Cleveland squad, but. Man, I don't know. This Boston team, I mean, I honestly, I just feel like they've got their number, and I think it's a lot to be said for team basketball versus, the superstar grouping that we've had over the past few years.
The way they're playing right now, they could legitimately, and I don't know if they can keep up this pace and this ball sharing and this defensive tenacity, but they could legitimately give Golden State a very tough series if that's what we're getting in a couple of weeks' time.
Man, that would be a great series. That would be an absolutely great series.
Oh, two great coaches, 2 very interchangeable lineups. You've got guys on Boston that can play, 3 out of any of the 5 positions that they need to on the court, so they can go. They can go with a long lineup. They can go with a short ball, fast lineup, and Warriors can do the same in terms of the ratings and what you'd want to watch as a basketball fan. I reckon it'd be fucking awesome to watch.
Yeah.
If the Celtics get through, Al Horford has to just have a series of a lifetime, I think.
Yep.
Just keep what he's doing. Just keep what he's doing.
I was going to say,
doing what he's doing.
I feel like he's doing that now for us anyway, right? Like,
yeah, just got to keep it going. I mean, he has just been sensational.
They'll have Draymond on him.
That'll be worth the price of admission itself, seeing those 2 battle it out.
Honestly, if we get it, it's going to be an epic series.
Your guys' thoughts on this series? I've got a sweep coming. What do you guys think?
I don't think they get a sweep. I think look, the Cavs did okay today, considering all their issues. I think a bit of home cooking, they might get the next one, and we'll go from there. I think they'll pinch one at least.
Yeah, I just can't see a LeBron team getting swept, even if it means he has to go out there and have a 60-point triple-double. I don't know what else the dude can do. I can't see the sweep, but man, they are being out-coached. We'll see. But look, I've got it going to at least 5, possibly 6. I've still got Boston taking the series.
I was thinking about this today and thinking about this series, and I was actually thinking about how big it will be if Boston, sweep aside, if Boston beat Cleveland. I think it's like a very big deal. Like Boston going to the NBA Finals without their 2 biggest stars. I think that's a huge thing for the league. And I was actually thinking today, like, I hope it has a watered down effect. For the past few years, like since the Olympics, really, when Bosch, Wade, and LeBron, got together behind closed doors at the Olympics and plotted, schemed, whatever you want to call it, to team up on Miami. That's what we've really seen, these teaming up of superstars, and every time like a team wins an NBA championship, at least the bottom dwellers and at least those rebuilding teams, they tend to try and mimic, that style of play, that style that team had, is sort of now proven with. So I'm kind of hoping it has a trickling down effect where teams start building teams again. Look what happened in OKC this year. Look how far those guys got. That's a team that should have done a lot better than they did, and they got beaten by Utah, a better team. So I just hope, look, we might happen straight away, but I hope, if Boston do go through, I hope over the next, 3 to 4 years we start seeing, especially those bottom-dwelling teams, looking to build, teams based on, guys' character, and I don't know. I hope the playing field evens out a little bit more.
Yeah, look, you're going to have free agents are going to want to win, but look, I think managements are getting good at pairing and good at trading, and interconference trades sort of happen a little bit more than they used to. So look, a lot of that comes down to management as well. I mean, with the exception of the Hayward signing, I mean, Kyrie was a deal. I mean, these are deals that are getting done. So hats off to management, I guess, for doing what they do as well, because this playing field that you're after, this level playing field, is only going to happen through trades or the draft. I think we're going to see, and that's also something that obviously today we can talk about with the NBA draft happening.
Oh, do we have to? Do we have to, Stu?
Well, I mean, look, if you've got Phoenix able to draft a DeAndre Ayton, I mean that changes the fortune of whether or not they can potentially keep Booker in town, and so there are managerial moves that can be made then to sort of bring some talent into a smaller market like Phoenix to keep a talent like Booker off the back of a high draft pick. So, I mean, look, everything's cyclical. I think that the league with the changing of the guard with the Spurs getting old and things like that, I think we're going to see conversations that we haven't had for years in Philadelphia and Boston in the last games of the season. Stuff like that hasn't happened for a decade. So it's good, and I think it's cyclical, and hopefully over the next couple of seasons we're going to see a lot more of it.
I agree with everything you said. I was just a sour Grizzlies fan, so yeah.
I know. 4's not bad.
It's not great either. It's not 1.
Most mock drafts had you guys at 4 and 5.
Yeah, they did. I'm actually okay with the pick. But look, let's move to the Western Conference. And Game 1 was under the way. And Houston, Golden State. Wow. Jesus Christ. You know what? People might not like the Warriors for whatever reason. Vince, you touched on it a couple of shows ago, that you're not the biggest Warriors fan, but by golly, you like, your words, by golly, you like the style of play. And
I did not say by golly.
By golly, that's definitely something you would say.
No, it's not.
KD, man, that was impressive. Kevin Durant, wow.
A big smile came across my big pumpkin head when I saw the score, and just picturing D'Antoni in a corner somewhere going, "Shit, I'm being outcoached. We're up against a better team."
Did you see his comment?
Oh, I don't listen to anything he says.
It was something along the lines of,
I don't waste my internet on him.
Mate, he was something along the lines of, next time I'll just ask Harden to score an extra 10 points or something. It's like, you idiot.
He's actually a dickhead. He just makes me, like, I hate him so much, but he makes me laugh with some of the shit he says. That's just another thing. But one thing I will say is how much this team has just turned into Kevin Durant's team. I mean, it used to be Curry's. It's just amazing. But I don't know if you heard Steve Kerr on the Wide, that little wide segment they have. And this is what I love about Kerr's coaching. Steph Curry isn't getting the amount of shots he normally gets. And Steve Kerr's just like, don't worry, you're going to bust out. They're coming. The night's coming. As this series goes on, you are going to bust out for a big game. He knows how to push the right buttons. He knows how to keep his team on the same page. He knows how to motivate his team. Houston are in trouble. And I'm saying that off one game. Houston are in trouble.
I mean, I think, I just touched on, sort of the building of these super teams. I think the thing that impresses me the most about this Warriors squad is their egos are all in check. Do you know what I mean? Like, it doesn't really matter. Like, I don't think it really matters to, guys like Draymond. I mean, any of those guys, like Clay especially. I mean, we talked about him being like one of the most underrated guys in the league. I mean, they're playing for each other, which is like so much more dangerous because they do have so many weapons.
They do not care who scores. If nothing would make them happier than JaVale going out and having a 30-pointer. They do not care who scores. They're in it for each other, and that starts from the coach, and that probably starts from the management. It's a bloody good organisation. JaVale's not scoring 30, by the way.
I was going to say, was that a prediction?
Well, he might total 30 for the series, but probably not.
Did you hear Kevin McHale's comments through the week about Harden?
Was that about the defense?
It was about the
And it
defense.
was shade.
Yes, I did hear a little bit of that.
Like, obviously, there's a little bit of history there. I didn't think those two left off on, probably the best foot.
Before you go on, is that because McHale left Harden on the bench in a fourth quarter comeback that the Rockets made and won?
That is correct.
That's where it stems from.
That's where it stems from. And Harden obviously had a big problem with it because he's he's a bit of an ego. Look,
don't be happy you won.
The guy is impressive offensively. The guy is. I think McHale's argument was more to the point that he's not the leader on that squad. They had that now with Chris Paul. Harden's not your leader because you lead by example. And if you're not doing it on both ends of the court, can you really be the leader if you are not leading on defense? If you're not playing like all out on both ends of the floor, I mean, I don't think Harden can ask his teammates to to step up if he's not going to step up on defense. Yeah,
but basketball leadership isn't do as I say, not what I do sort of a thing. I mean, you've got to get out there and do it. That's why players like LeBron can be so demanding, or players like Kobe can be so demanding, or Michael Jordan could be so demanding. I mean, because it wasn't like they were talking it and not doing it, and that's a massive knock on Harden and always will be. His passiveness, and I think a lot of it's conservation of energy. He's not going to, push through a switch or drop down on a guy who's cutting through because it stops him from getting out on the break, or it stops him from running and being the first receiver. But it's shit leadership. It really is. And so McHale's right. Good call out.
It's just that thing, like you just mentioned it then, Stu. It's like it's all those little things, that lead to extra possessions, doing those extra little efforts. And if you're not training yourself to commit to those little extra efforts, it's not going to translate in big games. Vinceroni, as we call you.
I've just got to mute. Hang on a second. And you've never called me that, dickhead.
Golly gosh, Vince is the Italian Bosch. Sorry, I'm working out my new Courtside kids book.
Yeah, that's never going on a shirt.
Shirts it is.
Golly gosh, he's the Italian Bosch.
Come on, we can put little T-Rex arms on him and everything. It'd be funny. Waving a burger towel on the other hand.
So Vince is back. We've got the Italian Chris Bosh.
Yeah, look, I don't understand how a guy like Harden, when McHale was his coach, how he couldn't show McHale a bit more respect. It's not like McHale didn't win anything. It's not like McHale didn't play with one of the greatest players of all time. He's a 3-time champion. He sacrificed part of his game and he came off the bench as a sixth man. McHale knows how to win. So I'm actually glad McHale threw some shade back at him. I thought McHale got a bit of a raw deal in Houston because of James Harden. So that's why I'll be even happier when they lose.
Do you think Houston get a game?
Oh, they will. They'll probably get the next one, but they're not winning the series. Do you want my prediction?
Yeah.
Oh, let's go for a nice, easy 4-2 Warriors.
Okay. Wow. Let me go that far. Stu, what do you reckon?
Yeah, I'm probably more inclined to go 4-1. Seeing that extra gear that the Warriors have and just how easily they flick that switch. Like, that was a close game until they decided they didn't want it to be a close game anymore. They really it didn't matter what and who Houston and D'Antoni threw at Steve Kerr and those Warriors. They just They just changed it up, and they've got so many options. I'd expect them to get one game, no more. I'll go 4-1.
I'm calling a sweep.
Oh, you're sweeping both sides.
I'm sweeping both sides. It's unheard of, I know, but I'm putting it out there. I think they sweep. I think that first game in Houston was such a punch in the guts to Houston, and they're not gonna recover. If Golden State get this next game in Houston, which I think they will, I think they're not going to drop a game at home. Like, that's the thing about this series. It's like these first two games are in Houston, then it shifts back to Golden State. If anyone thinks like Houston are getting a game in Golden State, I mean, good luck with that. I don't like your chances. They are just playing some brilliant basketball. I said it in some earlier shows that, I was a bit worried that, maybe they were hoping just to flick the switch. They did exactly that. And man, that game one and watching KD go to work, like they just had no answer for him. I love the fact he was in the post and telling Trevor Ariza that he can't guard him. It's like, you can't guard me. You can't guard me. And then, Ariza's no slouch when it comes to defense, but KD was dead right. I would like to see Chris Paul take a little bit more charge of this Houston squad, actually. Especially that game one. Look at the two games he came off the back of. Do you know what I mean? They need a leader. Harden's clearly not the guy. Harden's the guy who's going to get you points in the basket, but they need a leader. I look at that squad, and I mean, honestly, I'm looking at it and I just go, you know what? You need your defensive guys on there with Harden, or else this game's, you need to play Harden with Capella, you need to play Harden with PJ Tucker, and Chris Paul. You need those hard-nosed defensive guys, and I mean, that's what's going to be the downfall because D'Antoni doesn't know any defense. And I mean, I could see a very frustrated Chris Paul at the end of this series because he's really going to see what the coach is all about.
Would you, if say they get knocked out, if you're Chris Paul and James Harden, do you make a call to Melo and say, listen, opt out, come and play small forward for us, we need more firepower to get past Golden State?
I mean,
yes.
Because he'd fit right in with D'Antoni. I mean, and Chris Paul would look after him on the offense way better than Westbrook.
I think that call's happening either way. I think that's a done deal, whether or not they get through or they don't. I'm supremely confident that call's happening.
But they're going to be in the same position next year. I mean,
but he gives them more firepower though.
I agree, but they don't play D. Melo doesn't rebound. We saw that this year. Do you know what I mean? Like, that's the difference between these squads right now. Like,
I hear what you're saying.
Golden State.
I hear what you're saying, but I understand playing PJ Tucker and that, but PJ Tucker is not a threat. Melo would be a threat.
I mean,
Melo is someone you have to guard. Melo is someone you can throw the ball to.
I agree. Look,
and to be the Warriors, you still need firepower. You
do. But I mean, look at like the shot attempts you're getting out of Harden. Like, do you think that's going to stop?
No, but you've got Chris Paul there as well. Like, Chris Paul will keep people happy.
But Harden's still putting up those shots. Do you know what I mean? Like, I don't think giving them another shooter. I mean, I totally get what you're saying. And I mean, this all comes back to coaching, right?
But the Warriors are doing it.
But they play defense and they play as a team.
Pardon me.
That's the difference. Do you know what I mean? Like, they play defense.
Not everyone can make the fantastic hiring that I did in Steve Kerr. Look, if they had Melo in this series, geez, it'd probably go 7. And I think Melo, if the Rockets get him and they win another 60-odd games, I mean, how happy is that kid going to be? Like, you can't tell me he wasn't miserable, okay? So he'll be happy as...
Of course he was. No, I agree. I agree with what you're saying.
Getting his packet of Pringles after every win.
I agree with what you're saying, but this all comes back to coaching, and
you'd say it was perfect, Wayne.
Regular season, it's like, look, they finished with an impressive record, but that's all that's left. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's playoff games and a 7-game series. I mean, shit, even the Jazz got a game on this year.
Well, if I'm a Houston fan, and I would rather my team go in with a Carmelo Anthony alongside Chris Paul and James Harden than not having him. Yes, Melo had a down year this year, but it's not all his fault.
No, it's not. But I mean, what's to say you're not going to get the same Melo next year? Are you saying the difference with Westbrook?
In this system, I don't think so. Mate, me, you, and Benson in this system could put up a couple of buckets.
At least get some foul shots, that's for sure. Well, that's all the playoff talk. We've got a little bit of time to talk some draft, don't we? We squeeze some draft talk in.
Pick 27. Who are we taking, Benson?
It's a fantastic question. I like the mature Australian kid from Sydney, Benson.
Andrew Bogut?
Yeah.
Phoenix finally cracked the code after 50 years. Phoenix Suns with the number 1 pick. Look, I'll just run through maybe the first 15.
Yeah, that'll do.
Phoenix taking the number 1 pick. Sacramento number 2. That's really weird. Like, it really does feel like a changing of the guard when Sacramento's not picking 6 and 7. Like, I feel like they always have those picks over the past 12 years. Well, look, let's just maybe talk the highlights, I suppose. I mean, I think you touched on it at the start of the show, Stu. You know, like, Phoenix nabbed the number 1 pick. Could this be the decision that keeps Booker in town?
I think it definitely could be in terms of dynamic and tempo and the way that he certainly seems to thrive as a 2. I think fast pace is going to help them, and Ayton's a huge floor runner. But a guy who can also slow things down to go back to the basket. He's old school. I think we've all spoken about him before, how high we are on him. That's just changed the fortunes of the franchise, I hope, with the drop of a ping pong ball. And I really hope that's enough. And he's good enough and as good as advertised that he can keep Booker there, because it'd be good to see. He's a guy who admires Kobe Bryant, and to be a one-team guy and to be a one-team guy at Phoenix would be pretty cool.
Didn't DeAndre Ayton say that he could see himself playing in Phoenix with Booker and could see the situation playing out like a Shaq and Kobe 2.0?
Yep, he did, and he said that. He was high on Phoenix before. This is weeks ago. There was a soundbite of him saying that he thought that was a great fit for him.
I agree with that pick. I think that's the right pick for Phoenix to make. I know Phoenix fans online are a bit torn in two because half of them want him and then the other half want Luka.
Well, I got news for him. Sacramento are on the clock. They are taking Ayton, 100% guaranteed.
You reckon?
There's a dude on Twitter who's a reporter and he's pretty well connected in Phoenix.
Oh, you think they're swapping picks?
No, he just said that he's already been in the loop that they're going to take Ayton at number 1.
Sacramento.
Oh, sorry, I thought.
So I'm saying
we're taking Ayton.
No, they've already taken him. So Sacramento are already thinking about who they're going to take at number 2 because they've already been told we're taking Ayton.
Oh, so Phoenix already okay, yeah.
Right. Sorry, I thought you were dropping a Woj bomb. I thought you were telling us that that Sacramento were trading up.
No, that's just they're on the clock because Phoenix are 100% taking DeAndre.
I mean, I like that. I feel like if Luka, like if Phoenix did take Luka, I just feel like there's too much confusion with the ball. I mean, he's
because Luka's a small forward who can handle the rock.
Yeah, he's a big guard.
He's a big boy.
Yeah.
I really hope he does fall to number 4.
Luka?
Because he could turn around and just go, I'm not working out for the Kings. I'm not working out for Atlanta. Like, hopefully he does that because he wants to get to Memphis or somewhere else. I don't want to see him in Atlanta.
Well, that's the thing. Like, I would love him in Memphis, myself personally. But, Dennis Schroeder from Atlanta come out the other day and said that, he basically doesn't want to be in Atlanta anymore. He wants to be playing for a contender. He doesn't want to be sitting at the, second last of the league with the Hawks. Like, I could, if he's basically come out and said that and Luka does fall, I just think it'd be silly for them to take anyone else. I mean, from everything I've heard out of Sacramento is that Vlade is like too high on Luka and he won't slip past him anyway. But even if he did, like, I just feel like, that makes Schroeder expendable, gives Atlanta at least something to play with as far as, bringing either more picks or moving in for some assets to quickly build this Atlanta team back up again, or at least gives fans something to bloody cheer for because they've just stunk like shit for years now. Tell me I'm wrong. I mean, how quickly did that Atlanta squad fall apart. I mean, it was only a few years ago they had 4 All-Stars and they just butted into nothingness. And they got nothing back for them.
But that's Atlanta. Every so often they have these good teams that are not championship teams, but they win a lot of games and they just rip them apart.
Yeah. Yeah, speaking of ripping apart, Memphis 4-4.
Could you trade up? Who have you got to trade up?
Chandler Parsons. Chandler Parsons. 100%. No, I said today, like, obviously, I anyone who follows me on Facebook, they would have saw my post today, but I'm actually okay with the pick. I feel like it takes a bit of the pressure off. I feel like if we have number 1 or number 2 pick, then we're basically drafting a replacement for either Conley or Gasol. So at least now we get to draft for maybe a piece that's going to, to join in that mold. Maybe we can jumpstart this back up again. Who knows? We re-sign Tyreek Evans or whatnot. But in saying that, this all comes down to having faith in our GM, Chris Wallace, which I have 0. So we're going to mess this up anyway.
What if you could go, because Vladdy's been known to get fleeced. What if you said to Vladdy, I'll give you pick 4 and Marc Gasol for pick number 2?
What am I giving up? Pick 4, Marc Gasol.
For pick number 2.
I'd probably do it.
He would do it. He would do it.
You reckon he would?
Oh, Vladdy, yeah, he gets fleeced all the time.
Yeah, I know he does, but...
I mean, he gets fleeced, so you'd ask the question.
Oh, yeah, you'd ask.
Because you might get him when he's had a sip of vodka and he's like, oh, yeah.
He likes
yes.
He likes our old Memphis players too, doesn't he? He does. He's got
half your team.
Got half our bench from last year, half our team. So fuck that'd be crazy enough to work.
You can only, look, Chris Wallace can only ask.
Dallas sneaking in with the 5th pick, guys. I think this is great for them. I think this is a good piece they can bring in for life after Dirk.
See, I reckon they might be looking at a guy like Jaren Jackson Jr. at that pick.
Yeah,
yeah. If he's still available, that's who I'm drafting if I'm Dallas.
Yep.
100%.
I like the kid from Duke, Beagley. I want to say I can't remember his fucking
Bagley.
That's
Bagley.
Right. I like him.
Marvin Bagley.
I like him. I think he could fit.
If he has a good workout pre-draft, man, he could be someone that Sacramento look at if they're not 100% sold on Donkey. He's a mad player.
I just wonder if we're about Trey Burke. Oh, Trey fucking Burke. Come on, Wayne. Trey Young. Yeah, I wonder how tempting he would be for a team like Dallas. Someone pairing up him with Dennis Smith Jr. in Dallas. I mean,
yeah, I can see it, but I can't. I'm really hoping Jaren Jackson's there.
Yeah,
for them. Do you have a soft spot for Dallas?
I'll tell you what, though.
Who's that? Trey Young.
Trey Young. He is going. I'm telling you, he's not just one of these guys who's going to be college sharpshooter or whatever. He's going to be really good. I'm just going to put that out there now. I think there's going to be teams that are going to be like, shit. We should have picked him. There's a lot of comparisons with Steph that are thrown out there. That's way too early. But fundamentally, he's going to be very good in the right system.
Yeah, nice.
He's already got sneaker companies coming at him too.
Oh, does he?
Yeah, I think Puma is one of them. Offering him some Bitcoin.
Yeah. Okay, he's going to go prematurely bald as well. He's in the Evan Fournier school of, hang on a second, you had hair and now you don't.
Wayne Hunt.
Hey.
Wayne Hunt.
The Hunt.
Give me the Hunt.
The Spitball Special. Wait. I really like Michael Porter Jr. I just hope he doesn't go to a shit team I don't like. I know he had a lot of questions with his back.
Did he have a major injury at one stage? Sorry.
He did something to his back, but he came back at the end of this year. Obviously, was still adjusting, but I think teams are going to sleep on him. He's going to slip, but I mean, he's a good small forward. I think heading into the future, I think he's. I like what that kid can do. Maybe he goes to Cleveland. Maybe slips to Cleveland at pick 8.
I was going to say pick 8 is a massive pick for Cleveland. They have to get that right.
Not necessarily, because Jerry West is going to give them 12 and 13 for LeBron.
Wow.
No, fuck Jerry West. No, he's not.
Why are you mad at Jerry West all of a sudden? You mentioned it the other day on the chat.
You know why I'm fucking mad at Jerry West?
Enlighten me.
Because he's a Lakers legend, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you can go to 28 other teams. Don't go to the fucking Clippers.
Well, what got up my ass was he said, leaving the Warriors was the hardest thing I've ever had to do. Are you kidding me? Remember the day you left the Lakers because you got your panties in a bunch? Come on. You were there for 5 minutes.
He just wanted another executive ring. He wants a championship ring.
I mean, that just hurt a little, that's all. It's hurt.
Yeah.
He's the Lakers man. He's a legend. He's an icon.
Yeah.
If he'd said, look, this nearly hurt as much as I left the Lakers, I might have let it pass. But no, come on.
Interesting.
We sign off.
Yeah, look, we're obviously not going to go through all the picks and, everything like that. We will this year, though, however, do what we did last year and cover the NBA draft again. I mean, that was a lot of fun. I think we had it down pat last year, I feel.
Yeah, we nailed it.
We had the Facebook covered, we had the Twitter covered, we had the live feed covered.
Are we the three of us taking the day off again, doing a live draft?
Yeah, I'm going to take the day off.
Yeah, I'll do it. I was doing Facebook. You guys were covering Twitter and all the updates and recording, and yeah, that was awesome. Yeah,
let's do it again. That was fun.
I'll be on the couch again with some Milo. So yeah.
No, that was Jesus.
I said Milo, not hooker.
I thought you said some Olay, as in oil of Olay.
No. Box of tissues and Olay.
Yeah, right.
Just a question. What pick do you guys have again this year?
27 and 47, I think.
Yeah.
So what pick do you use to bring in LiAngelo Ball?
Probably 47.
Is that happening?
Actually, he'll be no, come on. Oh my God, is that happening?
You will face the wrath of you and the coaches and Magic and Rob. You're all going to face the wrath of Lonzo Ball.
We are not. We're Lonzo going to have 3 balls on the roster. It's not going to.
What's Lonzo Ball? Lonzo Ball ain't going to say shit.
Mate, he's going to be upset.
Like his father.
He's going to be upset that it's going to come out now. You'll see.
Nah.
Wayne, I'd be cough up a lot.
Sorry, I'm just winding you guys up.
You diseased dog, you.
Well, of course, you can catch all the Courtside madness at the website www.crtsde.podbean.com. Guys, head down, subscribe to the show. It's free. All our shows are free. You'll find lots of our regular show, all the playoff coverage you can handle, mini-sodes, Courtside Present episodes, and of course you'll find links straight to the Facebook page where we talk and banter all week long. Exciting stuff for the playoffs. I can't wait for the NBA Finals. I've got some sweeps picked, so I'll see how they pan out. And of course, the NBA draft just around the corner. Gentlemen, it's been emotional.
Stay laborious.
That's my sign off, damn it.
Here it comes. Watch out! Here it comes. Watch out! Here it comes.